They built an entire subdivision on my land, 97 houses, tennis courts, the whole suburban dream. And I watched the circus for 2 years, never saying a word, just letting them stack mistake. On top of mistake, all $67 million of it, on dirt that never belonged to them. The cherry on top? The woman behind it all once stood up at a town hall and called me trailer trash. Yeah, that happened. Told the crowd folks like me didn't deserve to own prime real estate. Not when she could transform the community. Guess I was just the last bump in her path. Picture me, standing there, coffee mug in hand, watching cement trucks choke out diesel clouds while they poured the foundation for her fancy community center, feet crunching gravel right where my grandfather had drawn the property line in '52. They didn't know it, but every day they built, they were just digging their own hole deeper. See, while they played house, I was playing chess. It all came to a head. That day in court, the silence was heavy enough to suffocate. I just set my grandfather's original deed on the table, and you could hear the oxygen leave the room. 97 families living there. Dreams on my land. And I was about to wake them up. What would you do if that was you? Drop a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. I want to see how far this story travels. So, here's the cast. I'm Sage Hendress. 3 years ago, my wife Sarah passed. Cancer, quick and cruel, leaving me alone on 240 acres in Millbrook County. The same spread my granddad bought for $800 and a handshake. I'm not complicated. Retired electrician, heritage chickens, black coffee, quiet mornings. Kids out in California now, and truth be told, my buff Orpingtons make better company than most folks. That was before Dolores Whitmore barreled into my life. Call me D, she said, sliding out of a white Escalade like she was stepping onto a movie set. Late 40s. Blonde hair tight as a drum, always with a clipboard. Came from some failed Arizona development, spinning stories about revitalizing rural assets. The asset she had her eyes on. My land. First meeting, I'm repairing fence. She's strutting across my drive in heels. Told me this place was wasted on me. Wanted to build executive homes, make a real community. The way she said someone. Like you. Like she was choking on the words. Told me everything I needed. I said no. Politely at first. 6 months later, a city inspector showed up, waving anonymous complaints about my septic system, 12 grand in mandatory upgrades. Saw D's Escalade parked at City Hall the same day. Asked the inspector who complained. He got real fidgety. A year later, I'm checking fence lines one morning and find survey stakes and orange flags running along my property like I'm hosting a parade I never agreed to. Whitmore Heights, 97 executive homes. My heart's pounding in my ears. I drive straight to the courthouse, engine knocking like bad karma, demanding answers. Here's what D did. Filed paperwork claiming my 200 acres were abandoned under some dusty county rule about annual land use declarations. Notices sent to the wrong address. What a coincidence. When I didn't respond to mail I never got, the county gave her development rights by default. Ethel, the county clerk, pulled me aside. Marcus, this stinks worse than a pig farm in August. But she's got the paperwork. Development rights aren't ownership, I said. Doesn't matter, not in this county. She shrugged. That night, I sat in my kitchen, Sarah's chair empty, coyotes howling outside. I had two options, fight it in court and bleed out, or get creative. Most folks don't get it. You can have all the permits and approvals you want, but if you don't own the dirt, you're building on quicksand. Dee had her rights to develop, she didn't have my land. So I let her build. Let her spend. Let her dig her own grave. Ribbon cutting day, she's got the mayor, commissioners, a photographer. Chainsaws take down the oaks my granddad planted, each crack echoing like a gunshot. While she posed, I took photos. Documented every truck, every delivery, every bit of evidence. My electrician buddy Jake always said, if you're in a fight, document everything, because memory fades. But spreadsheets hold up in court. I dug into the public records. Sarah's cousin taught me that trick. Turns out Dee had skipped the environmental reviews, claimed my land was already residential. Overlooked its special AG protections from '62. She also filed a wetlands report saying no sensitive habitat. Funny, since I'd watched blue herons nest there for years. Her sales brochures called it pristine farmland, using my land's legacy to jack up prices while tearing out its soul. Neighbors started acting weird. Property values shot up. Folks who used to wave now crossed the street. Murphy's Diner, my breakfast spot for 20 years. Suddenly, I get the cold shoulder. Then came the harassment. Anonymous letters about taxes, city inspectors showing up with new complaints. My chicken coop a hazard, my barn unsafe, my driveway not to code. Dee called a meeting at the fire station about undesirable elements. I wasn't invited, but Jennifer Walsh, retired teacher, filled me in. She never said your name, but everyone knew. I contacted a property lawyer for a consult, learned about adverse possession. As long as I could prove continuous ownership, any improvements became mine. Meaning, every house she built would legally be mine if I played my cards right. The first model home went up, young family toured it, faces glowing with excitement. Made me question everything. Was I about to destroy innocent dreams? Or protect them from a bigger disaster? Only time would tell. Dee's ambition grew. She leveraged early sales to build more, threw up a $2.8 million clubhouse, and kept sending glossy brochures. My pond was the centerpiece. Jake, the foreman, turned into my inside man. Didn't realize he was telling me Dee was over-leveraged, putting her house and retirement on the line. The HOA rules came next. No livestock, $50,000 mandatory landscaping, no barns in sight. If she couldn't push me out, she'd fine me to death. But she got sloppy, filed insurance claims for vandalism. But when I checked, the damage was just new paint or upgraded equipment. My brother-in-law said that kind of insurance fraud could void bonds and financing. I started collecting before and after photos, built a case. More families moved in, clueless. The Johnsons invited me to a barbecue. I'm grilling burgers in a backyard that legally belongs to me. Thinking, how much will these folks lose? The HOA Facebook page erupted. People fined for rose colors, trash cans left out too long. I screenshotted every complaint. Building an army. Then I found the ace up my sleeve. A county inspector's test revealed the entire development was running off my well. Dee never secured water rights, and that's a whole separate can of worms. She built a $60 million community that couldn't flush a toilet without my permission. Dee's desperation turned ugly. Animal control complaints, flyers calling me unstable. Diner banned me for safety concerns. Every incident just added to my file. I kept waiting, building pressure, letting her dig in deeper. The final act, fall arrives. Dee's crowned developer of the year, but she's careless. Her brother-in-law's on the planning commission, campaign donations everywhere, and public records showing outright corruption. I finally hired Sarah Noel, property rights lawyer. She reviewed my mountain of evidence, told me to wait, let Dee invest every dollar, then drop the hammer. I found my grandfather's original deed tucked away in Sarah's papers, mineral rights, water rights, and a clause saying no development without heirs' written consent. The county's whole abandoned ruling was junk. The deed predated every county record, trumped everything. Title insurance had missed it. They panicked, offering me millions to settle quietly. But then we found Dee had built on a federal wetland, Army Corps jurisdiction. One call could shut the place down overnight. I had the power now, lawsuits, criminal referrals, federal violations, the works. But it weighed on me. 80 families trusted a broken system. I structured my case to protect the homeowners. Title insurance would cover losses, and I'd sell at cost to families who wanted to stay. Day of the groundbreaking, crowd, coffee, diesel exhaust. Cameras everywhere. I stepped forward, held up the original deed, and said, every house here was built on land that's been in my family since '52. The silence, the shock, priceless. Dee melted down on camera. FBI and EPA agents moved in. The mayor and commissioners bolted for their cars. Grand jury handed down indictments. County officials resigned. Settlement paid out. But the victory wasn't about the money. 73 families bought their lots for what they'd paid. The rest left with help. Environmental groups restored the wetlands. Blue herons came back. The new HOA president threw Dee's rules in the trash. Dee went to prison, licenses revoked, name a punchline in development circles. Our story hit the news, inspired new laws, got taught in classrooms. The county planning office now displays a photo of our restored land as a warning. Sometimes you don't pick the fight, it picks you. But if you stand your ground, you just might fix more than you ever imagined. So, tell me, where do you draw the line between justice and revenge? Drop your stories below. I read every one. And if you've ever tangled with an HOA or corrupt officials, trust me, you're not alone.